Ever feel like you're settling in life? Like you're capable of so much more, but just can't seem to reach for it. Well, today we're diving into C.S. Lewis's Weight of Glory sermon to explore this very feeling.
Hmm. It's fascinating that Lewis delivered this sermon in 1942, right in the midst of World War II.
Oh, wow.
You'd expect a wartime message to focus on the immediate crisis, but he chose to address something seemingly unrelated, the depths of human desire.
Yeah, it's almost like he's saying, look, there's a bigger picture here, something beyond the current struggles. And what's really striking is his argument that we're not aiming too high, but actually too low.
Yeah, he uses this powerful image of children making mud pies in a slum when a holiday at the sea is being offered.
Wow.
It suggests that we often settle for fleeting pleasures and distractions because we can't even grasp the possibility of something infinitely more joyful.
It's like we're so caught up in the day-to-day grind that we lose sight of what we could truly yearn for. Lewis even says that we're fooling about with drink and sex and ambition when infinite joy is offered. It's a pretty stark assessment of the human condition.
I think it's important to note that he's not condemning these things outright. It's more about recognizing their limitations. They might offer temporary satisfaction, but they'll never truly fulfill us.
So it's about discerning between fleeting desires and those deeper longings that point us towards something more lasting.
Exactly. And this brings us to a key point in Lewis's argument. Desire isn't the enemy, but rather a compass.
This feels counterintuitive,
Hmm.
especially in the context of many philosophical and religious traditions that view desire as something to be suppressed or overcome.
Right. But Lewis flips the script. He suggests that our desires, when rightly understood, actually guide us towards something beyond ourselves. He sees them as signposts pointing towards the possibility of infinite joy.
So instead of trying to extinguish our desires, maybe we should be paying more attention to what they're revealing about what we truly long for.
Precisely. It's about asking ourselves, what am I truly hungry for? What are these desires trying to tell me about myself and my place in the universe?
This makes me think of the quote where Lewis says that our Lord finds our desires not too strong, but too weak. It's almost like he's challenging us to want more, to dream bigger.
Absolutely. He's saying that we're selling ourselves short by settling for mud pies when an ocean of joy is being offered.
Okay, so how do we even begin to grasp this ocean of joy? Lewis talks about heaven, but how do we wrap our minds around something so far beyond our experience?
It's true that heaven as a concept is inherently difficult to describe of it. Lewis himself acknowledges this, using symbolism from scripture like crowns and stars to convey a sense of glory and recognition by God.
But even those images feel limited, right? They're just glimpses into something that ultimately transcends our current understanding.
Right. The key takeaway here is that this glory isn't about material wealth or earthly fame. It's about something far more profound, being fully known and accepted by God. It's
Hmm.
kind of recognition that goes beyond anything we can experience in this life.
That resonates with me. Lewis talks about that inconsolable secret. We all carry that sense of separation, of not being fully seen or understood. It's like we're all longing to be on the inside, to be truly known and accepted for who we are.
And that longing, that desire to be fully known and loved, points towards the possibility of a connection with the divine that's deeper and more fulfilling than anything we can imagine.
So we're not just talking about wanting more stuff or achieving more in this life, but about a deeper kind of fulfillment that comes from being in right relationship with God.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that we were made for something more, for a kind of joy that transcends the limitations of our earthly experience.
That's a powerful idea. And it makes you wonder, what are we missing out on by settling for those mud pies? What incredible possibilities are we failing to even imagine? It's almost like we have this built-in capacity for experiencing a joy that's beyond anything we can currently comprehend. But then we get distracted by the mud pies, those immediate gratifications that ultimately leave us feeling empty.
Yeah, it's like we're trying to quench an unquenchable thirst with sips of water. Instead of diving into the ocean, Lewis isn't saying that those earthly pleasures are inherently bad, but they're just not in the same category as the infinite joy he's describing.
So how do we break free from this cycle of settling? How do we shift our focus from the temporary to the eternal?
Well, Lewis doesn't offer a step-by-step guide. It's not about following a set of rules or rituals. He suggests that it's about a fundamental change in our understanding of ourselves and our relationship with God.
He does mention obedience as playing a role in this transformation. He says longing transforms obedience. What do you think he means by that?
I think he's getting at the idea that as we begin to grasp the magnitude of what's being offered, our desire for it becomes so strong that obedience is no longer a burden, but a natural response. It's not about blind submission or fear-based rule following.
So it's less about external actions and more about an internal alignment with God's will.
Exactly. It's about cultivating a deep longing for God, a yearning for that holiday at the sea, and allowing that desire to shape our choices and actions.
As we grow in our understanding of what awaits us, that desire becomes stronger, almost like a magnet pulling us toward our ultimate destination.
It's like that analogy Lewis uses of the schoolboy learning Greek. At first, he might be motivated by grades or parental pressure, but as he starts to experience the beauty of the language, the joy of reading Sophocles, his motivation shifts. He begins to crave the learning itself, not just the external rewards.
It's about developing a taste for the divine, a hunger for the kind of joy that surpasses all earthly pleasures.
And here's where Lewis introduces another mind-blowing concept: the weight of glory in others. He argues that we should recognize the potential for everlasting splendors that exists in every human being.
I love that line where he says, "There are no ordinary people. You have never talked to a mere mortal." It completely changes how we see the people we interact with every day.
It challenges us to look beyond the surface, beyond the flaws and imperfections, and see the divine spark that resides in everyone. It's a call to treat each person with a level of reverence, recognizing the incredible potential they hold.
It makes you think twice about that snarky comment you were about to make, or that dismissive attitude you might have towards someone.
Absolutely, because you never know who you're truly interacting with. Lewis even suggests that the person standing before us could one day be a creature which, if you saw it now, you would be strongly tempted to worship.
That's a powerful image.
Mm-hmm.
It raises the stakes for every interaction, every relationship. It suggests that we have a role to play in nurturing the everlasting splendors in others.
It's not just about avoiding the immortal horrors he mentions, but actively contributing to the flourishing of those around us. It's about recognizing that we're all connected on this journey towards something extraordinary.
So how do we practically live out this awareness of the weight of glory in others?
Lewis uses this incredible analogy of living in a society of possible gods and goddesses. It's a call to approach every encounter with humility and respect, understanding that the person in front of us has the potential to become something truly magnificent.
This challenges me to consider how often I fail to see that potential, how often I let my own judgments and assumptions cloud my perception.
It's a call to be more mindful, more intentional in our interactions. It's about recognizing the power of our words and actions to either uplift or diminish those around us.
It's almost like we're being invited to participate in the unfolding of this weight of glory, both in ourselves and in others. It's not a passive observation, but an active engagement.
And that engagement starts with recognizing our own tendency to settle for mud pies when an ocean of joy is being offered. It's about waking up to the incredible possibilities that are available to us if we dare to yearn for something more.
Yeah, it's a profound shift in perspective, to view every interaction through this lens of possible gods and goddesses. It's almost like we're being asked to be talent scouts for the divine, looking for those sparks of everlasting splendor in everyone we encounter.
And not just recognizing them, but nurturing them. Because remember, Lewis also talks about the immortal horrors. Our actions, our words, our attitudes can have a real impact on the direction someone's life takes.
So we're not just bystanders in this grand drama of weight of glory. We're active participants, shaping not only our own destinies, but influencing those around us as well.
It's a call to take responsibility for the impact we have, to recognize that we can be either a force for good or a stumbling block in someone's journey toward infinite joy.
This brings up an interesting question. We've talked a lot about the individual's journey, but is there a collective aspect to this weight of glory?
Absolutely. Lewis doesn't explicitly address it in this sermon, but I think it's implied. When we elevate the way we see and interact with others, it creates a ripple effect. It contributes to a more compassionate, more hopeful, more just society.
It's like we're all threads in this grand tapestry of weight of glory, each one contributing to the overall beauty and complexity of the design.
And each one capable of adding either vibrant color or dull, lifeless strands. The choices we make, the way we treat each other, it all matters.
So after this deep dive into the weight of glory, where do we go from here? What's the takeaway for our listeners?
Well, Lewis doesn't give us a neat set of instructions. He invites us to wrestle with these big questions, to grapple with the implications of what it means to live in a world of possible gods and goddesses, to confront our own tendency to settle for less than what we were made for.
He's urging us to wake up to the extraordinary possibilities that lie dormant within ourselves and those around us, to embrace the fullness of what it means to be human.
And perhaps most importantly, to refuse to be too easily pleased, to keep striving, keep yearning, keep reaching for that holiday at the sea,
Yeah.
that infinite joy that awaits us if we dare to believe it's possible.
It's a challenging but ultimately hopeful message, a message that calls us to live with intention, with purpose, and with a deep sense of wonder at the potential for everlasting splendors that reside within each and every one of us.
And on that note, we invite you to continue pondering these ideas, to look for those sparks of weight of glory in your own life and in the lives of those around you.
Until next time, keep seeking, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.